Today we're going to make Easter cards, and they're so pretty. As I mentioned, we'll be using the Arrange a Wreath bundle, and it is beautiful. So I am not going to spend a lot more time here chit-chatting. I am going to go ahead, flip the camera down, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing I want to do is share the actual bundle with you and what it looks like. It is this one, and you know, I think the dies are on back order. But that's okay. They should be off back order, I think, by the 22nd of March. But they're not on unorderable status, which means you can order them and they will ship out once they're in stock. And so I know a lot of my customers already have Arrange a Wreath, but if you don't have Arrange a Wreath, I'm not really totally sure if you'll get everything you need in time for Easter. However, there's always 2022 Easter that we can start planning for, right? Okay, so let's go ahead now and look at some additional things we're going to be doing here. Oh my gosh, what's this? White embossing powder? Yes. I'm not actually going to emboss on camera, but I did do it in advance, and I'll do the setup for how that goes. And of course, a heat gun. Then I have the In Good Taste Designer Series paper here that we'll be using today. It's really phenomenal. It's 24 sheets. So it's basically a double pack of paper. And I love it. It's got all of these wonderful, you know, this is a great one to have for spring crafting if you're doing masculine cards. And that's actually our Creative Crafters Stamping to Share Team Swap next month is masculine cards. So I'm sure I'll see a few of these papers on those masculine cards, the In Good Taste 12 by 12 DSP. Lots and lots of things to choose from that paper pack. And we'll be using this one right here, which is kind of a soft pink knitted look, along with this particular wood grain background. Looks really great. Then we have some pearls. So these are the colors we're using, and we have Pear Pizzazz, Highland Heather, Soft Suede, Basic White, and Blushing Bride. So it's a nice collection of springy colors. Now let's take a closer look at these cards. Oh, they're so pretty. So I'm going to hold it up really close to the camera so you can get a good look. I know when I did my picture this morning, you know, it's just really hard to capture a picture and have the colors come just right for posting, because I don't think it really comes across on the camera as pretty as it is in real life. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and get started. First, I think we're going to focus on the stamping. So I want to share with you how that is all done. So there is like a letter board in the stamp set that I think, you know, when you get the stamp set, you're like, what? How do I use that? So the letter board is right here. And then you can actually stamp these various sentiments onto the letter board. So how do you make this letter board? So I'm going to show you how I do that. First of all, because it's kind of a big area that needs to have a really good solid image. Whenever I have something like that, I like to grab my Stampin' mat, because these are photopolymer stamps. So you need kind of a little bit of a cushion if you're trying to get a really solid, bold image. Going to use soft suede, and we're going to ink this up. And that looks good. And then I've got just a piece of scrap, basic white. And what I want to do is put it on here and just give it a second or two for the ink to really transfer onto the basic white. And you lift it away and you have something that looks like this. Never looks as good when you first put it down. Don't worry, it lightens up as it dries, and it's all going to look fine once it's dry. The thing is, though, is we need to emboss over the top of this, and you really can't do that quickly. So you have to stamp it like an hour or so before you do your embossing. Otherwise, the other option would be to stamp it and then just run your heat gun over the top to really dry it well before you go ahead and do your Versamark. Because otherwise, when you put the embossing powder on it, it's going to stick in a lot of different places where maybe you don't want it to stick. All right, so I did do a couple of these last night before I went to bed, just so I could have it ready for you today. And I'll show you, let me take my scissors. I'm just gonna cut this one away because we're gonna actually use this particular one on the card today. But how I do this is I take the Versamark ink. I probably don't need the Stampin' pad. Well, I'm just gonna keep it here since we're working with photopolymer. I've got my Versamark ink pad. I'm just inking up Happy Easter. And then it's not really helpful unless I put my head directly over the top. But then you stamp your Versamark right over the leaderboard. Or is it a letterboard? Oh my gosh, I don't know for sure. There you go. So you can't see that. I know that. But I'm gonna help you see it, because the next thing we're going to do is take some white embossing powder from Stampin' Up. This is a little ice cream spoon. Isn't it cute? I get these little tester spoons because, you know, you can't walk by a gelato place without testing something. Oh, so that's a little tester spoon. I always stick those in my purses because they're the perfect size for putting in your little embossing powder things. All right. All right, so then you can kind of see, and it doesn't look real bright at the moment, but once you heat emboss it, it really picks up and looks great. So I'm going to set this aside because I did do this in advance. So I've got one already cut out. Now, what we're going to cut out is we're cutting off this little edge here, but we're leaving the white. So I'm just going along this little white edge. It's okay if a little bit sticks through from the other side, but you don't want to cut off that white edge, because the white edge is kind of what makes it when you put it on the card. It sort of gives everything a little bit of a frame. But if you leave this on, sometimes it can be just a little bit bigger than you want it to be, and it'll fill up a little too much of the space on the inside of the wreath. So that's why I'm cutting it off. So I gotta grab my little scrap bucket here. There we go. So here we go. We have the two little Happy Easters. They look so nice. Then there's some other things we need to stamp. Keep putting this away, but I actually keep needing it. So we're gonna need some Easter eggs. So I've got the Blushing Bride, and I'm just gonna ink up the Easter eggs because we're gonna decorate our wreath with some eggs. And you're going to need one set of eggs for each wreath in 2 colors. So we've got the Blushing Bride created, and then we're gonna grab the Highland Heather. And it's probably a good idea to clean. Let's see, do I have my cleaning? I do. All right, I was like, did I put that here? I thought I did. Here it is. So then just clean that off. And then what we're gonna go ahead and do is the Highland Heather eggs. So that's gonna go right next to it. And then this is really cool. So on the set of dies, you get a little twofer. So you stamp 2 eggs at the same time, and then when you run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you can cut out 2 eggs at one time. So I love it. Works really great. Makes all this prep work go really fast. All right, so I'm gonna set that aside. And then I want to also show you that you're going to need some scrap paper in the colors that we talked about. So Blushing Bride, Highland Heather, and also Pear Pizzazz. And you're going to be using both of the die wreaths that come with this bundle. Oh, and you're gonna need some more Whisper White, not Whisper White, you know the one, Basic White. So that would look like this. So you're going to cut out one of these, like so. Oh, well, in my case, I'd cut out 2. And then you are going to cut out one of these for each card that you're making. And they look so pretty, and you'll get to see all that in a second. You are also going to need to cut out, where to go? Oh yes, you are also going to need to cut out little teeny tiny flowers. So nice, there's going to be 3 on each card. And look, there's 3 little dies. So you can run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and all your little flowers will cut out really, really quickly because you get 3 of them at one time, which is just super great. Okay, so I don't think, actually I have this all cut and ready to go, but I don't think we actually need it. I misjudged. I was just rushing to get this all done because I got very distracted by the sale that Stampin' Up! Is having tomorrow. So I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, it was kind of a rush to get everything ready. Yeah, you'd think I could get this ready the night before, but such is not always the case. All right, so let's go ahead and start assembling this card, because once you have all of your little pieces prepped, it goes pretty quickly. So we'll start with our base card, if I can grab it. And that is going to be in Highland Heather, 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. So I have 2 of those prepared, and that is going to be our card. Then we're going to do the inside panel first, get some things out of the way. And those panels are going to be 4 by 5 1/4 in basic white. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put little accents that go with the front of the card. So if you see what the front of the card looks like this. We want some of that pretty kind of knitted pink accent. So those little strips are 1/2 inch by 4 inches. And we're going to be putting those right along the edge of these basic white panels. So I'm just going to take a little multi-purpose liquid glue, and we can just set those right here. It's really nice to bring a little color of whatever is going on one side into the inside. Just adds a lot of continuity to your card making. So there we go. Gives it a little more of a professional look. So just slide that into place, and that looks good. Then you can choose to leave it blank, which I've done, or if, and I know so many of my customers have this stamp set. The question is, do I have it? I do. If you happen to have happy thoughts, there's so many good things in this sentiment set. You may just want to put this one. I think this one's perfect. Just wanted to send some happy thoughts your way, because happy Easter, happy thoughts your way. I think that one would go really well. All right, so we're going to, or you could do a thinking of you. I think all of them would work really well. Okay, so let's go ahead and take some Stampin' Seal, and we're going to just put those on the inside panel here. And we're going to do the same thing with this card, because these will be my giveaway cards, which I will do. I don't know if I'll get to it this week, honestly. My plate is pretty full this week, but it'll eventually happen. You can trust me for that. All right, so we're going to set those aside. Then the next thing we're going to do is start building our outside panel. So I'm going to set that aside so it doesn't get in the way. And this is where we're using our In Good Taste Designer Series paper. I've got the kind of the background panel here cut from the wood grain look, and that is 4 by 5 1/4. And if you want to know exactly which one I'm using, if you flip it over, it's got this design on the back. Kind of, I don't know. I've never used this design. It sort of looks like a rug to me, but I'm not really sure what it is. Probably some kind of textile. And then we have the pink ones, which are 3 1/4 by 4 inches. Those are perfect for Easter cards. They look so cuddly. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to put multi-purpose liquid glue all the way around these panels. And we're going to set this in like so. Oh, Candace has a good idea. She says, add eggs to the inside for a little extra touch. Oh, that is such a good idea. Had I prepped any of those in advance, I would definitely do that. But you guys can do that for sure. All right, then we're going to do the same thing for this one. So we're just setting this right in to the inside of that wood grain panel. Connie Davison is asking, what is that DSP? It's called In Good Taste, and you'll find it in our annual catalog. And it's a big pack. It has, I think, 24 different designs. So it's 12 sheets, you know, 2 designs each. So you get 24 pages, I believe, or pieces of paper. It's really a big pack. Okay, then we can go ahead. We're going to put this directly onto the front of our cards. So again, we're just going to use some multi-purpose liquid glue. And this is just going to be set right here, and we can wiggle that all into place so it's just perfect. And another one here. Okay, all that looks really good. Now, the next thing we have is our wreaths, because that's the next thing to put on. So let me grab it. I'm going to do one card at a time because these wreaths can get kind of tangled up. So I've kept the pieces separated here. So I'll set these all aside. This is one card pile. And what I do is I put this little white one on first. I'm going to get my silicone mat to help you see what I'm doing here. And then on the back, because the green wreath is going over the top, you don't need to put a lot of glue back here. In fact, you don't really need to put a lot of glue on either of these. Just a few dots here and there works great. And then bring your card in and just set it so it's right in the middle. Give that a second to grab. And then we're going to take the green one and maybe add a few more dots than what you did. But this is really fast and easy because the leaves are so much bigger. So you don't have to be just terribly careful. See, I just put, I don't know, about a dozen or so dots on it. And then you can pick it up and you're going to just put that right over the top of that white one. And there's your layer. And then we're going to do the same thing for the second card here. So I'm going to grab the supplies for that one. And we're going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to flip this over. Just add a few dots to the white one because the green one's really going to be the one holding everything down. So we just want a few dots on the white just to get it on the paper. We're going to set this again right in the middle. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It's just getting it onto the paper, holding it in place, and then you're going to put the green one right over the top. By the way, thank you so much for sharing this video on your timeline. I really appreciate it. I see several of you have shared. I appreciate that because the more people we can help learn about stamping and this wonderful hobby, the better. It's so relaxing and so much fun to do. Okay, then we just set this one right over the top. Give it a second to adhere, and glue works really well for this purpose. There we go. So we've got them both ready to go. And now it's time to decorate the wreaths. This is really the fun part. All right, so we're going to start by putting our bow on at the top. So I'm going to do that with mini glue dots. So I'm going to grab my mini glue dots here. I'm going to start with this little one and just set that directly up here. This gives it kind of a double-tied look. That little mini one. You don't have to use that one if you don't want to, but it kind of makes your bow look fluffier and a little bit more realistic. And then put the other one right over the top of it. And you can see that little extra layer just adds a little more oomph. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. Just add that right in the center. Grab the other one and add it right over the top. So simple. See? I mean, really, if you're in a hurry, you could stop here. This is beautiful. But we're going to keep going. All right. Let's see here. Then we're going to add, I'm going to add the flower. I'm going to add one of the flowers next. So again, this is all really super easy with mini glue dots. So just throw one of those flowers directly below the bow area. Whoops, I just put one on. Oh, no, I didn't. I thought I had put it on. You know how, you know, your die cuts have a little kind of a weird edge on one side. I almost put it on upside down, but I was able to get it off the glue dot and save it. Okay, then once we have our top and our bottom, because it's kind of working like a clock here, then we're going to take a purple one, a purple egg, and we're going to take a pink egg, and we'll put both of those at the bottom. And then we're going to go back to the flowers, and we're going to add that next. Just like right there. Another flower here. And then the last thing is to grab another purple and a pink egg. So if you did a pink one down here, do a purple one up here. And you can see how quickly this comes together. Oh my gosh, how adorable. So that one's almost done. Well, we have to put the Happy Easter in it and all that jazz, but we'll get there. We'll do that all at the same time because we have to do this one now. So again, once you have your top and your bottom, then go for your eggs. Do a purple and a pink. And then go to your flowers. Cute little purple ones. And another cute little purple one. And then another egg. And another egg. All right, now to add the sentiment, flip those babies over and you're going to use some dimensionals. So I'm just going to put 2 dimensionals on each one. And then we're going to set that right directly into the middle of the wreath. And just set that in just like so. Oh my gosh, so fantastic. Here's another one. Just make sure it's nice and level. That's the main thing. Get it level. Then take your pick tool and put on the beautiful finishing touches. As I mentioned, I'll be doing a giveaway of the pearls when I do this card giveaway. So I'm going to take a big one, just slide that off. My sliding is not going so great here. All right, add that to the middle of your bow. So you got your big ones on the bow, then grab the little ones. And you're going to accent the centers of those flowers. There, I think I had to replace the end of my take your pick. So then just this last one over here. So grab little tiny, tiny pearls and just add them to the center of your flowers. And push them in because you know there is a glue dot under there. So it's going to help keep that pearl. Whoops, that pearl didn't want to come off. I'm going to try a different one. going to keep your pearl in place. Have a great day, everyone. I truly appreciate you. Bye-bye, everybody.